You know what's more satisfying than watching someone trip over their own overconfidence? It's watching a politician walk straight into their own policy disaster, then try to act like it was all part of some master plan. And believe me, today, we've got a spectacle you won't want to miss. Helen Whately just delivered a political blow that would make a heavyweight boxer rethink their strategy. Rachel Reeves thought she could spin the U-turn on winter fuel allowance into some kind of financial masterstroke, but Whately wasn't about to let that slide. She said out loud what we're all thinking. Who exactly does Reeves think she's fooling? Spoiler alert, absolutely no one. Welcome back to UK Watch Arena, where we serve politics stronger than your morning coffee and keep pouring all day long. Because if you look away for even a second, British politics will have changed completely. I'm your host, and you're about to witness a masterclass in political takedown from Helen Whately, aimed squarely at Rachel Reeves. Trust me, this clash was fiercer than a kitchen nightmare on Gordon Ramsay's worst day. We're witnessing the kind of brutal political display that makes you wonder if parliamentary debates should come with a warning label. But before we dive into the glorious wreckage of this political bloodbath, let's set the stage. Rachel Reeves, the woman with political instincts so poor that even a broken compass could navigate better, just pulled off a U-turn so dramatic it would leave Formula One drivers scratching their heads. Remember when she slashed winter fuel allowance for millions of pensioners? When she boldly declared it a necessary step to save the nation's finances? Well, that was last month's fashion. Now she's back, funneling cash into the pockets of 9 million pensioners as if she's delivering Christmas miracles early. And here's where the farce begins. Instead of quietly backing down and hoping nobody noticed, Reeves goes on air to declare this a victory for a Labour Party in firm control of the economy. Honestly, the sheer audacity of that claim deserves a place in the record books. It's like demolishing your own house and then calling yourself a visionary architect for deciding to rebuild it. The level of political delusion here is worthy of hanging in a modern art gallery. Then Helen Whately stepped onto the stage with a kind of clinical precision that would make a surgeon stop and applaud. This woman didn't just expose a policy change, she dissected Labour's entire economic credibility and concluded it died long ago. When she asked who exactly do you think you're fooling, you could almost hear the collective sharp intake of breath from political commentators everywhere. It was the kind of blow that sliced through every layer of spin like a hot knife through butter. What's striking is that Whately didn't take the easy route of simply criticizing Reeves for the U-turn. That would have been far too simple. Instead, she pretended to welcome the policy shift, then used it to expose the complete absurdity of Labour's explanation. It was like praising someone for putting out a fire, then pointing out they were the one who started it in the first place. If you're enjoying this breakdown of political chaos, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Over 95% of our viewers haven't subscribed yet, and it really helps us keep bringing you these incredible political moments. It's free, takes just a second, and makes a huge difference. She deftly compared Labour's economic rhetoric to something fit only for the pigeons. In other words, utterly meaningless in the context of British politics. But the killer blow came in what followed, where Labour's financial advisors were probably reaching for something stronger than tea far earlier than planned. Whately reeled off economic figures like presenting evidence in court. Inflation up, growth slowing, unemployment rising, public debt ballooning. Each figure was like pulling another card from an already teetering house of cards. And the worst part, numbers don't lie, no matter how hard politicians try to spin them. Consumer price inflation now stands at 2.8%. Unemployment has shot up to 4.5%. Government borrowing has hit £148 billion for 2024 to 2025, up $17 billion on the previous year. This wasn't a financial report, it was a horror show. When your economic record looks like the scoreline of a football match, you're losing 5-0. Nobody believes you're in control of the game. Whately's dismantling of Labour's claims wasn't just about spreadsheets. It was about what truly matters, the real human cost. She spoke of hundreds of thousands of elderly people battling through winter without support, 50,000 older people plunged into poverty, 100,000 additional emergency room admissions. These weren't just statistics, these were lives, real people driven into hardship by sheer incompetence in governance. The picture Whately painted was bleak. Pensioners huddling in cold, homes, families financially drained, retirees forced to choose between heating and eating, all because a government believed it could make tough decisions without facing the consequences. It's like playing Jenga with people's lives, then acting surprised when the tower collapses. What made Helen Whately's counterattack so brutally effective wasn't that she just threw stones and hoped they'd hit. She built a sharp, coherent argument focused on the fundamental question: does this government actually know what it's doing? When Whately said Labour came to power without a clear plan, stumbling at every step, she wasn't just landing a political blow, she was exposing a dangerous pattern in how they operate. The timing of this fiasco has only made matters worse for Labour. They've shifted from the position of we must tighten the nation's finances out of responsibility to we're fully in control of the economy and can turn everything around within months. This isn't just a U-turn, it's a dizzying spin that would leave even professional dancers reeling. Either they were wrong from the start, or they're twisting the truth now. Neither option offers the public any reassurance. Whately highlighted something that seems simple but is profoundly important. Preparation can't be rushed. Opposition parties are expected to use their time out of government to sharpen policies, consider consequences, and be ready for the day they take power. If you're still fumbling for direction once you've begun governing, it's clear you've got the process completely backward. The contrast with how previous administrations handled similar reforms only sharpened Labour's weakness. Whately openly acknowledged that targeted support makes more sense than universal payments. But the crucial point is how you deliver reform through foresight, careful planning, and adjustments that avoid creating political storms. Labour's approach, by comparison, has been like trying to perform heart surgery with a sledgehammer, then acting surprised when the patient doesn't survive. What makes this whole episode so dangerous is how it undermines the very foundation of the story Labour tried to sell, that they are the responsible adults in the room. They came onto the political stage promising to clean up messes, restore sound governance, and win back the trust needed to run the economy. But instead of fixing chaos, they've created fresh disasters faster than anyone could have imagined. It's like hiring a professional cleaning company and watching them burn the house down. The problem is the wider economic backdrop only makes it worse for Labour. The Office for Budget Responsibility is forecasting unemployment to rise further, inflation to hit 3.8%, and the International Monetary Fund has cut UK growth forecasts. In a climate where every economic indicator is flashing red, thumping your chest and claiming we've got this under control is like a sailor calling himself a master mariner as the ship sinks beneath him. That's why Whately's demolition of Labour's economic record was so compelling. She didn't do it from a partisan stance or with ideological bluster. She used numbers, facts, and truths that anyone can verify. When unemployment rises, prices surge, and growth stalls, no amount of public relations spin can hide reality. Statistics don't care about campaign messaging. They simply tell the truth. It was Whately's ability to bring the human cost into the debate that gave her argument extra force. This isn't just about spreadsheets or budget reports. This is about real people living real lives. When policy drives pensioners into poverty, forcing them to choose between heating and eating, that's not a technical failing in governance. That's a moral failure that cuts to the heart of what government should be about.